Okay, welcome to part 3. This is chapter 73, the Enshrowded One. And once again, the Reformist translation has a 0th verse that says, "In the name of God, the gracious, the compassionate." Whereas none of the other ones have anything like that. Except for maybe this weird little squiggle up at the top. That might be what that means, and it's just something they started all out with. The Reformists may be doing this because all the epistles started out like that, and that squiggle means something. I don't know what that means exactly because I don't read Arabic, obviously. But apparently, I can't get the true definition of the Quran without knowing Arabic, as I've been told many times before, but I don't see why I should have to if God is all-loving. Anyway, now verse 1, "Oh, you burdened with heavy responsibility." Gali says, "Oh, you enwrapped in your raiment." Khan says, "Oh, you enwrapped in garments," i.e. the Prophet Muhammad. Shakir, "Oh, you who have wrapped up in your garments." I don't know if these are all turns of phrases that mean burden with a heavy responsibility, or perhaps all of these earlier translations are using the idea of Adam and Eve and nakedness, therefore he is a simple human. I'm not exactly sure what that means. If anybody's got some insight on that, please let me know. I'm going to merge 2, 3, and 4 together because they seem to be together. In the Reformist translation, it says, "Stand the night except for a little, half of it, or a little less than that, or a little more, and enunciate the Quran thoughtfully and distinctly." Gali says, "Rise up to pray during the night, except a little, half of it, or diminish a little thereof, or increase thereto, and recite the Quran in distinct recitation." Sounds like it's something you're supposed to do in the middle of the night, is wake up for a little bit, or be awake for a little bit, and recite the Quran aloud. Khan says, or a little more, and recite the Quran aloud, in parentheses, in a slow, in parentheses, pleasant tone and style. Just like the Quran tends to be read in mosques. And once again, to people who are Muslim, hearing that sounds very beautiful because you were raised in it. To me, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. It's because I wasn't raised in it. I'm sure there are plenty of Western sounds and ways of saying things that sound horrible to you because you weren't raised in it and you don't have the positive memories with it. I don't have any positive memories associated with that because I wasn't raised in it. Number 5, "We will place upon you a saying which is heavy." Doc, that is heavy. Gali says, "Surely we will soon cast upon you a weighty saying," weighty word. Okay. Number 6, "The nighttime production is more efficient and better for study." That's funny. I actually agree with that. I agree with a certain part of the Quran. I tend to do some of my better studying at night. But then again, science has shown that is not true for some people. A certain percentage are morning people, a certain percentage are night people. So I feel sorry for the morning people who followed this, because this is actually untrue, according to science. "Surely prayer by night is more intense in performance and more upright in devotional oration." So this, in the case of Gali, it's more intense. So it's not better, and it's not study specifically, it's the prayer. The prayer has more power. The Reformist is definitely wrong here. "Verily, the rising by night," for tahajjud prayer, this is Khan, "is very hard and most potent and good for governing the soul, and most suitable for understanding the word of Allah." So when you're half asleep, the best time to know and understand things is then. So, okay. That's always the best way to think about anything. When you're confused about anything, make sure you're the dog-tiredest so you can think rationally about it. Shakir, "Surely rising by night is the firmest way to tread and the best correction of speech." And the best corrective of speech. Apparently Shakir's just saying, it's a good thing to get up at night. So, Reformist is saying, Study is best at night. Not true. Gali is saying prayer by night is more powerful, basically. There's no way to prove that. Khan is saying that when you're sleepy and tired, and it's very hard, that understanding the word of Allah makes more sense when you're dog-tired. Makes so much sense. Alright, 7. For you have many duties during the day. That's true. Gali says, surely in the daytime you have long employment, and they're all saying pretty much the same thing. So you're working really hard during the day, but at night you have time to study. Or pray, which does make sense, even though you're going to stop, I believe, 4 more times that day and pray. So basically, the way it's always been, and the way it's until electric lighting, is the night was tended to be the time for study or prayer or something like that. The way we sleep, the 8-hour sleep, is specifically due to the electric light. They used to have things called second sleep, where you would sleep for the first 4 hours, and then you'd wake up, and you may even have visitors at night that late because the moon was out or something like that, so you have enough light for that. And then you go back to sleep for another 4 hours. Sleep is so relative, and quite often you would follow the patterns of the sun as opposed to following the patterns of electric lighting and have a hard, fast rule of 8 hours. So, random scientific insert there. Remember the name of your Lord and devote to him completely, and everyone seems to agree with him on that one. The Lord of the East and the West, there is no God but he, so take him as a protector. That's verse 9. Gali says, an ever-trusted trustee. Khan says, he alone is the Lord of the East and West. La ilaha illa huwa. None has the right to be worshipped for he. So take him alone as wakil or disposer of your affairs. And Shakir says basically the same thing as the reformist says. 10. Be patient over what they say and depart from them in a good manner. Gali says, and endure patiently what they, the disbelievers, say, and forsake them with a becoming forsaking. Yeah, sounds like reformists tried to nice it up again. And depart from them with a good manner, as in, oh, yes, so nice, so pleasant, I'm leaving you. As opposed to Gali, who says, forsake them with a becoming forsaking. So it's like, oh, yes, very nice to meet you, I'm staying away from you forever, because you're horrible. And Khan says, be patient, O Muhammad, saw with what they say, and keep away from them in a good way. Keep away from them in a good way. Sounds very much close to the Christian idea of be in the world, but not of the world. Shakir says, and bear patiently what they say and avoid them with a becoming avoidance. So, be nice, but stay the hell away from them. 11. Leave me to deal with the deniers who have been given good things and give them time for a while. Gali, and leave me away to deal with the beliers, the ones endowed with earthly comfort, and give them more leisure for a little while. Khan says, and leave me alone to deal with the beliers and those in possession of good things. They're all saying the same thing. We have us with chains and a raging fire. 13 says, food that chokes and a painful retribution. And they all seem to agree with that. It's torment or torture or whatever. So, yes, leave them alone. They'll have good things now, but they'll burn in hell. Just like any Christian says. It's literally no different from Christianity. I don't know why they seem to believe that. 14. The day the earth and the mountains shake, and the mountains become a crumbling pile. Gali says, the mountains become a heap of sand let loose. Pretty much all the same thing. 15. We will have sent to you a messenger as a witness over you, as we have sent to Pharaoh a messenger. And they all seem to agree with that one. But Pharaoh disobeyed the messenger, so we took him in a severe manner. Gali says, yet Pharaoh disobeyed the messenger, we took him away a baneful death by drowning taking. The root word, according to Gali, is Arabic word implying death by drowning. Khan says, but Pharaoh disobeyed the messenger, Musa or Moses, and we seized him with a severe punishment. And yeah, it could be any of those translations be correct. 17. So how can we be righteous if you have rejected on a day when the children have become gray-haired? Gali says, so in case you disbelieve, how will you protect yourself against a day that will make the newborn hoary-headed? And I guess that's a term for the resurrection, the day of resurrection. Hoary-headed. Basically, it's going to make children very old. I have a feeling it'll tell me later on in the Quran what that means. 18. The heavens will shatter with it. His promise is always delivered. And they pretty much all agree on that one. 19. This is a reminder, so let he who wishes to take a path to his Lord. They all agree. 20. This is probably going to be long because it's a really long verse, and I'll probably have to read all of them to find out whether they follow the same pattern or not. Okay, number 20. Your Lord knows that you rise a little less in 2/3 of the night, and half of it, and 1/3 of it, as well as a group of those who are with you. God measures the night and day. He knows that you will not be able to keep up, so he pardons you. So study what is made easy of the Quran. He knows that there will be sick among you, and others that venture out in the land seeking from God's bounty, and others who are fighting in the cause. So study what you can of it. Hold the contact prayer and contribute toward betterment, and give God a loan of righteousness. Whatever you put forth yourself, you will find it with God. For it is better and a great reward. Seek God's forgiveness, for God is forgiving, compassionate. Jesus Christ, that is long. You've got these verses that are like 3 verses long. That is one sentence. And then you've got this one verse, it's the very last one, that's like, should be chopped into like 6 different verses as long as it is. Okay. Let's see. Gali says pretty much the same thing. Bring zakat, lend Allah a fair loan. Whatever charity, be for yourselves, ever forgiving, ever merciful. God's awesome. Be his little slave. Everybody, yeah. So basically what he's saying is Allah knows that you won't always be able to stay up and study. Some of you are fighting in the cause. Some of you are sick. So just do the best you can. So, in this case, Allah's kind of reasonable. It's kind of rare. Anyway, that is the end of Surah 73. This is the end of part 3. And I shall see you later.